The only way into Pakistan's turbulent and violent tribal areas in the north is with the army. America's so-called war on terror is no longer confined to the border with Afghanistan. It's spreading inside Pakistan. It's a daily reality over vast swathes of this country, reaching as far as the Swat Valley, close to the border with China.
From up here, the villages and the surrounding areas of the Swat Valley looks beautiful and idyllic, but what it hides is a profound conflict between General Musharraf and the army and the militants on the other hand. And away from the capital Islamabad and the political turmoil there, this is also the conflict which is an overriding priority of the United States.
The Swat Valley, one of Pakistan's principal tourist attractions, no more. It's now a war zone and yet another front line for the Pakistani army's fight against Islamic militants. Mingore is one of the main towns in the Swat region and an administrative capital for the government, but it feels very much like a garrison town. The militants have seized on local disaffection with the Pakistani government to win support. Pakistan has come under strong criticism, even condemnation from the US for not doing enough to fight against rising militancy in the country. But what Western countries rarely see or acknowledge is that the Pakistani military is being asked to fight a war against its own people.
We are operating in our own country, their own people. Even if many of them, which are not foreign elements, but they're still into militant activities, our own people. Although they're misguided people, but still they're our own people. And then there is a huge majority of people in those areas which are innocent.
One aspect which is also rarely seen by the outside world is the impact of the war on terror on ordinary Pakistanis. It's a conflict that's being waged in some of the most deprived and impoverished regions. Civilians are leaving the Swat Valley every day, packing whatever belongings they have for sanctuary elsewhere in Pakistan. People told me that at the heart of the crisis is the demand amongst people for traditional forms of justice and arbitration, something that government courts are failing to do. Many want Sharia courts. It's this issue that a radical cleric, Maulana Fazlullah, has exploited. The army faces a long, some would say endless fight, because whilst the Pakistani military controls the towns and roads, militant fighters live and launch their attacks from the vast terrain of the valleys and mountains, ideal terrain for guerrilla fighters.
With its beauty, these heights, these mountains, of course, these provides good areas, good havens to the militants to operate from. This is of course, favorable to them as well. Now it all depends who uses these mountains better.
The country is locked in a largely unseen war inside its own borders. It's a divisive and polarizing issue in the country and could define the future for Pakistan just as much as the political struggle taking place in Islamabad. Rageh Omaar, Al Jazeera, in the Swat Valley, Pakistan.